Technology is the next big thing in our industry. You need to understand the technology that is involved, otherwise anyone can make a fool out of you. One solo reason why Hollywood films VFX always looks better.
What is wrong with movies like Adi Purush and its VFX?
Wrong, but it's a very good example of how not to make a film.
There are some beautiful South Indian films like RRR and Bahubali.
In Bollywood, the problem is, oh, the script is ready, I want the film shot and I want it released within a month.
So, hello everyone and welcome to Before College, a series designed to guide young talent at Polaris and beyond, exploring the many pathways technology offers in today's world. In this episode, with Mr. Anant Roongta, Managing Director at Famous Studios. So Anant, before I jump into more specific questions, you practically grown up around film studios and Bollywood. So, if you were to tell in like 60 seconds how Bollywood has or the filmmaking has evolved over the years, you would love to know.
I'm very fortunate to have been part of a family that has kept our company, our brand relevant. My grandfather started it in 1946 from importing India's first film camera, which is still in my room in Bombay. It's a mahogany ebony box, okay? And it's the hand crank, a super 8mm negative camera, all the way now to having high-end digital cameras, which is been used to shoot films like Top Gun Maverick, Formula One, you name any of the Bollywood films also. Film industry has come a long way, not only in terms of the technology that we use, but also the requirement for talent, creative thought processes from just film to now content becoming very democratized. Now people are also watching what we call one-minute episodes, right? Which in China they call noodle films, right? So that's becoming a very, very big concept as well. I mean, I have seen about 10 or 12 years of evolution, but through my grandfather's eyes and through my father's eyes, I've seen almost 65, 70 years. So from that standpoint, it has been a very unique journey. But I think for us, we've always tried to invest in the right technology, have the right people with us. And even through the difficult times, we've managed to sail through. And we're still very, very relevant in the industry. And now looking at our next phase of expansion, which will involve a lot of tech people. So, technology is the next big thing in our industry. It's not just the creative part of it, but tech is going to play a huge role in the next 10 years.
So everybody really wanted to know how Bollywood is going to incorporate tech.
Already incorporating it, they don't say it. The big elephant in the room is AI. There's no question about it. AI is being used considerably, okay? But because AI still has a little bit of a legal ramification, because most of it is open source. So if it is any major AI tool like a Midjourney is still mining data and pulling out data from the open source. And the open source does not necessarily mean that that creator is given Midjourney permission. So that is where the entire issue of legally using someone else's content crops up. I mean, we would be the last studio to really use AI because we're too scared about what the industry would think about us. We have a reputation to maintain. But yes, people have started using it. It's a matter of 2 years before AI really becomes a significant part of content creation. I'm not going to say filmmaking, but content creation. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some set of questions that we are all very eager to hear from you. So the first one is, what's the experience of working as a techie in a Bollywood movie?
So just to put it out there, I'm not a techie, but I have made an effort in my last 10 years to learn the technicals. Because when you're running a business, which does involve technology from script writing all the way till mastered output, you need to understand the technology that is involved. Otherwise, anyone can make a fool out of you. Now, after understanding it, where technology is concerned, today AI is being used for scripting. It's being used for pre-viz. Does anybody know what pre-viz is? Yes, thank you. So, we worked with a director called Ram Madhwani. Ram sir he was the director for the famous web series Arya, season 1 to 3. So we've done a lot of work with him.
Sorry to interrupt your video, but this is a very important information for you. Polaris admission test or PAT is now live, and every 14 days there's a new intake of students who give the PAT test every fortnight. Thousands of students have already given the test, and this is their first step of becoming the top 0.1% software developers of tomorrow. Polaris admission test में physics या chemistry के academic सवाल नहीं होते हैं, बल्कि most of the paper is actually designed after mental ability, logical reasoning, and your arithmetic capabilities. And if you don't want to give maths, देर इज ऑल्सो एन ऑप्शन फॉर यू जहां पे आप पूरा पैट सिर्फ कोडिंग पे ही दे सकते हो, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली जब आपको लाइफ में करना ही कोड है, सो वी शुड ऑल्सो असेस यू ओनली एंड ओनली ऑन कोड. आप पोलारिस आओ या ना आओ, बट आई वुड हाईली अर्ज दैट यू गो एंड गिव द टेस्ट, बिकॉज दैट टेस्ट विल गिव यू अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग इंडिकेटिव आइडिया ऑफ व्हाट अ मॉडर्न इंडस्ट्री लेड सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग करिकुलम एक्चुअली लुक्स लाइक. द लिंक इज इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन.
He recently put out a show called Waking of a Nation, which is on Sony Live. It has not heavily been marketed, but please go watch it. It's on the Jallianwala Bagh attacks, right? So what we've done there, we've basically, Ram sir came to us and he said that, look, we need you to create a previs for the major sequence where the assassination of those guys who are, inside the ground, they're protesting. That entire scene, we want to do a previs of that. So we have gone a little bit old school, but clubbed it with tech. So we created a plaster of Paris model, maybe say the size of one of these tables, okay, which is as per scale of what Jallianwala Bagh used to be in the early 1900s. We've then used photogrammetry. I'm sure some of you all know what photogrammetry is. We've pulled images in 3D mesh. So we've used Unreal Engine and Blender. We've created 50 or 55 different options of camera angles, what lens needs to be used, what lighting needs to be used, how the characters will come in and go out. We charged approximately anywhere between 35 to 40 lakhs to Ram sir. So by spending 40 lakh rupees on day one, you're eventually saving in the tune of 5 crores in production. And why are they saving? There is no time wastage. They know exactly where the camera angle is. They know exactly where the actor is coming in, going out. It saves a ton of money, and it also makes your content look good because you start creating your 3D assets before you go on set, right? That is a one solo reason why Hollywood films VFX always looks better than Adipurush. Okay? All right?
Which brings us to a second question. Is what is wrong with movies like Adi Purush and its VFX?
Okay, so now little bit of our culture, okay? I'm sure all of you guys come from different backgrounds, right? Different parts of the country. Native language might be different, right? Now, when you take on a topic like Ramayana, okay? It's a sensitive topic for Indians, okay? Hindus in particular, but overall everyone knows about Ramayana. Do you guys remember how Ravan was represented in that? Saif Ali Khan. Today, okay, we might say that Ravan was like this, he was like that, but end of the day, he was a Bhakt, Shiv Bhakt. The point is, the representation of the characters was not good. Secondly, he's flying some really weird creature. Yeah, like a bat, okay? That was not the case. Second, the visual effects was, I mean, I don't even know what the guys were thinking of doing, very honestly. So the lesser we talk about it, the better it is, because it was terrible, all right? And what was a bit, the guys who took on the responsibility are actually the legends in the industry, where VFX is concerned. So I don't really know what went wrong, but it's a very good example of how not to make a film. Especially when you are talking mythology. But now the next Ramayana that is coming, which is being produced by my biggest competitor, okay? And I have a lot of respect for him, which is Nitesh Tiwari is directing, and it is being produced by Namit Malhotra, who runs Prime Focus and DNEG. And DNEG obviously is one of the biggest studios in the world, an Oscar-winning studio. So, but he is using stuff like motion capture. They've already spent over 100 crores in pre-production already, okay? So I know what's happening behind the scenes because some of our old colleagues are working there. We know people. We've seen some BTS, there's blue screens everywhere attached with LED walls. Matlab, it's a different level. So it is a film that I feel will do well, okay? But we have to wait and see.
On a lighter note, uh, like we heard, you talk about Bollywood and movies. तो सबको यहाँ पे कुछ stories जाननी होती हैं about some Bollywood actors. So you must have met them. If you could just tell us like one or two stories of, how they are in real. Anybody, any actor.
Okay. So one of my, I wouldn't really say he's a very good friend, but I know him very well. Sweetest guy, most disciplined guy in our industry is John Abraham. So obviously his career, initially, he told me this story that he actually came to Famous for the first time, which is our studio in Bombay. And he was actually a spot boy, वो production में पीछे जो काम करते हैं, behind the scenes. And the guy who was meant to act that day, he felt sick. The producer told him, take off your shirt. And it was a bike commercial. So this guy gets his body oiled up and all that, sits on the bike, and the rest is history. That's how he became an actor. And since then, obviously, I don't want to get into his personal side because I don't know it that well. But I've met him on multiple occasions. First person on set. No alcohol, no smoking, no attending parties. Supremely disciplined. And people love to work with him because he adds value. So whenever I'm with him and he has 15 minutes also, he'll pull me to the side and ask me, Anant, how's your business going? You want some help? Are you planning on getting into production? If you are going into production, please, I would like you to show me the material and also inform me who are the guys you are planning on partnering with. So that much detailing. And then you also have the other side. I won't take names because that's the wrong thing to do. But, then you have the classic stuff of not showing up on time. Unfortunately, there's substance abuse. I've seen that in front of my own eyes also. Something that I would recommend none of you should do because it just takes away your mental sanity, okay? And I've seen that happen with actors, mind you. There's people with a lot of like highly inflated egos, things like that, right? So you'll see the good and the bad. But see, when it comes to actors, credit where it's due. They have to deal with a lot of pressure beyond the set. Sir, one selfie. Sir, this is my mother, please talk to her. This is my girlfriend, please send her happy birthday wish. It gets too much, right? No one likes it. Beyond a point, it does get stressful. So some of them resort to substances or whatever.
Okay. So we'll come back to VFX. You were talking about Adi Purush.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some beautiful South Indian films like RRR and Bahubali, and they've set some great benchmarks for VFX. So, what do you think that they're doing right, and is Bollywood not able to catch up to it?
Okay, so I'll give you an example of Kalki because it's a more recent film. We did the color grading for Kalki. Okay, long film. Around 18 different visual effects studios worked on that film. 1-8. Because it was in all if I remember Swapna ji telling me 2,400 shots of VFX. And remember one thing, guys, people confuse VFX with CGI. Okay, VFX is different, CGI is different. VFX is where you are shooting something and you're compositing a background to make it look like a clean image. CGI is you're generating something using a computer. So fire, liquid, like your Marvel characters or whatever it is. That is CGI. Or you're making say an F-14 Tomcat or an F-18 Hornet in Top Gun Maverick. Some scenes are generated. Okay, so that's CGI. So coming back to Kalki, good example of how visually good film should be made. So I had the chance of going on the set a few times. It was a very good combination of people. So the producer has given the director, Nag Ashwin, full creative freedom. Okay, he has worked very closely with not one, not two, but 3 action directors. Because you've seen there's multiple characters in the film. The cinematographers have come from Serbia, Montenegro, some Eastern European part of the world. The pre-production of the film started 18 months before they went on set. By the time they're on set, not only is the set looking great, not only are the costumes looking great, they've already started prepping what CGI assets are required. And a lot of it was shot on a blue screen. So when I entered one of the big sets, the scene, there's a scene when those guys get introduced to the boss of the Gundas, who does this, right? So I remember seeing that sequence live. The entire background was blue. It was just a little boat which was hydraulically put up. So yes, they've spent money, but they've achieved, or it looks like a 1,000 crore budget film, which not too many Indian films have been able to achieve. So it is planned and the right people and using the right tools and technology. It's as simple as that. In India, in Bollywood, the problem is, oh, the script is ready. I want the film shot and I want it released within 1 month. One live example from last night, Baghi 4. Okay. Now we. So unfortunately, we had the unfortunate, whatever word you want to use, to work on that project. And the film is set to release on September 6th. The edit is still not locked. So yesterday I get a call from the CEO saying that you're not releasing our EXR. So EXR is the final file that goes into the mastering room, and then it becomes a DCP, IMF for Netflix, ProRes for whatever. He's like, you've not released my footage. So I said, you've not paid me anything. And she's like, no, as per our agreement, we have to pay you later. So I said, as per the agreement, you had asked us to do so much work. You've added 10 more shots. You're not agreeing to pay me more for what I've done. So it went into a little bit of a, windy road. I said, look, this is a situation. I can help you out, but only if you accept. In the last 5 days, we have got 8 edit changes. So every time our team works on 10 shots, the next morning the DOP and the creative, the EP comes and says, "अरे नहीं, ये 10 shot नहीं चाहिए, अब ये दूसरा 10 shot काम करो." Third day, ये नहीं चाहिए, अब वो पुराना वाला 10 shot है वो डालो. So full khichdi, complete khichdi. So those kinds of producers, like the Nadia Walas of the world, they operate like that. That is just, so he can say that, boss, I am producing 10 films, 1,000 crores ka total budget. आपको काम करना है तो करो, otherwise take a hike. My decision is, I do not want to work with you. I don't want to work on such films where you don't respect the craft of VFX. We have many, many stories like that.
This is one of the reasons why India is not up to the mark with what tech is being used outside of India. You mentioned in our conversation behind the stage, you told me still a lot of help we take from Germany. China is also coming up. So why is India lagging behind? One reason is, of course, what you told me. And if we were to change that, what can the upcoming techies who are interested? We have so many of these people who are in the right combination of people who love content and at the same time they love tech. So how can they come up and be pioneers of changing that in India?
Okay, so there are two parts to the tech conversation. One is majority of existing producers, content creators are using hardware and software which is third party. So Unreal Engine, Maya, Max, all your cameras, Sony, Arri Alexa, whatever, they're multiple, right? The current tech guys are still a bit old school. The guys who are working behind the camera, like cinematographers, or even when the content comes into the studio, the understanding of how to process that content is a lot technical, right? So there's a huge opportunity there for someone to jump in and understand the future, build workflows for the next generation. So that is something, for example, that I desperately need today. So if you guys are technically sound, I can teach you all the business aspect, but you have to be open to learning business, right? That's another very important thing. Just being techies is not going to work. There has to be a small understanding of marketing and business, because today you'll come as a CTO, you will prepare a fantastic product, but do you have the capacity or the wherewithal to convince your teams internally that it's a good product, right? Your team has to use it. There'll be a business team, a marketing team, HR, whatever. So there's one requirement to kind of enhance the existing tech aspect of the business. Then there's a completely new thing altogether where content is democratized. It's on YouTube, it's on all the OTT apps, it's on your TV, it's in the cinema, it's everywhere. You can choose what you want to watch when you want to watch. distribution is becoming challenging, not only for filmmakers, but even for brands. So one thing I haven't mentioned is we also produce a lot of TV commercials. So we work with Puma, BMW, Unilever, multiple brands, Campa Cola, Coca-Cola. That's a separate business we have. I was in Delhi with Nestle a few days back, and they said, sir, we are a traditional company, but we feel we are spending so much money to create the content, but our visibility is not increasing. How do we reach our audience? So if one of you guys create a good tech product, but if people in the market don't know it exists, so what will happen? It's not going to work, right? So moving ahead, there are opportunities in distribution, creating platforms around distribution, creating more smarter AI pipeline for film, for anyone in the film industry. Could be producers, could be studios like us, or it could be any. I'm sure many of you guys are also content creators, right? Indie creators. I'm sure you're just like walking around with the camera, shooting random stuff, and you're publishing it on your own. Yeah, a lot of you guys, I'm sure. So this is another huge market which is there. It's you guys. You guys are creating. You guys are content creators yourselves. Whatever can make it easy, whatever can get content out to the final viewer, any tech around that is something that we would love to explore that with you kids.
We hear internship opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. No, and you could call it internship, you could call it, in fact, as I said, I'm not a techie. And mind you, majority of our team members, now, they're a bit old school. They are the nuts and bolts type. अरे सर वो लिनक्स मशीन है मैं इंस्टॉल कर दूंगा फ्लेम प्रीमियम है वो मैं इंस्टॉल कर दूंगा अच्छा बग लग गया वो सर मैं रन कर दूंगा बट नो वन इज थिंकिंग नेक्स्ट नो वन इज थिंकिंग कि what is going to hit them in the face is enabling technology and how tech is going to completely change the landscape of our industry. So I'm happy to dive into this more in detail because I'm also studying it right now. But yes, ops are always there.
So we have a lot of content creators.
Yeah.
But we also have a lot of gamers here,
Okay.
BGMI lovers.
Okay.
So how's your journey of working with BGMI and what is VFX when it comes to gaming?
Okay, so there's a little bit of a miscommunication. We've not really done much work with BGMI, but we use similar software like Unreal Engine is used for gaming, Unity is used for gaming, but it's also used in film, right? So I think gaming, whatever little bit I understand is two massive opportunities. End of the day, it's a storytelling experience, right? Say if it's a first-person shooter, for example, you go from one part to part three, there are like 40, 50 different parts, and then you do your thing, and then you've won the game, right? Now, there's a lot of people that are working on gaming around mythological characters. Because parents are like, instead of them playing Formula 1 or FIFA, get them to play some kind of a game where Ram Bhagwan ji is like, running and he's trying to pull the evil out or he's trying to find Sita from somewhere, whatever. So those are opportunities from the storytelling point of view, okay? Another thing which, in fact, there's a gentleman who I know who used to be very senior at Geo Gaming. He's just moved out in Delhi. He sees a huge opportunity for gaming to be a front for brands. Moving ahead with that conversation of brands, right now they've got digital platforms to push the commercial out. They've got those banners that come below. So you're watching a cricket game, all of a sudden you'll see the main video compressor and niche you see something playing. That becomes an asset as well. And then gaming also is getting integrated, the journey of this product, for example, or this guy's journey sponsored by this product. There are many integrations that brands are all looking for because the next generation is hardcore into gaming. So I could only say that from a business point of view, it's something that we will start exploring in the next year or so also.
So you also want to know how VFX integrate as a tech and what do people study if they really want to learn more about VFX and start with some tools?
So see, the starting basis of VFX and CGI is drawing. Okay, that's a classic route. Okay, but obviously now, which we used to call matte painting. So haath se they used to draw environments, color it out. Then digitally they used to superimpose the image onto a software like on a Maya or a Max, and then take it from there. Now I think a variety of the tools. For example, you guys can even just prompt, right? You can prompt text to image and change your prompt to get the best possible image. That's one way to immediately start. But if you really want to get going, with regard to tools, there's plenty of tools, okay? But you should do a small course on animation before getting into VFX and CGI. Animation is always the main starting point. VFX and CGI is something that you can start learning parallelly. And there's plenty of ways to do it online. And if you guys want to learn, you're more than welcome to come to Bombay. We can teach you also.
So before I'll give students 5 minutes to ask their questions.
Yeah, please. I'll love to answer questions.
Don't want you to be late for your flight or
No, it's fine.
Before that, I have one question.
Yeah.
So you work with cricketers also.
Yeah.
We want to know something about the cricketers you worked with and how they are. and
Okay.
Some story.
Okay, so I've worked with Master and I've had the privilege of spending 3 full days in Brazil with him during the Olympics. I've also had the privilege of taking him for a concert in London. And I remember when he came to Brazil, we got a call from his manager. So basically, to put in context, the company that I used to run was called Fanatic Sports. It was a sports tourism company. And we had the solo rights in India for Rio Olympics. So any fan that wanted to go to Brazil to watch Indian athletes, they had to come to us to buy tickets, in short. Okay, we were the sole distributors of tickets. So we get a call 3 days into our arrival into Brazil. Hello, I'm Sachin's manager. And Sachin Tendulkar is landing on so-so flight. So we're like, what are we supposed to do? It's like, no, you have to take care of him. I was like, yeah, 100%. So at that time, he was the ambassador for BMW. So my brother booked a Mercedes. I said, boss, he will take a rickshaw and go, but he won't sit in a Mercedes. So we had to cancel that. We had to book a BMW because he would only go in a BMW. So he came, he was in crutches. He had just had a knee reconstruction surgery. So he was with us and spent 2 full days with us. We took him for multiple events. And, I don't know if you guys remember 1998, India had a series with Zimbabwe and Australia in Sharjah. So the first game, there was a guy called Henry Olonga who was he got him out. And the next match, Henry Olonga could not bowl after that match. He got thumped. So the stories that he's told us about how that happened and how he had to, his mindset had to change overnight, right? After you get brutally hammered and you go back to your hotel room, you're thinking either you have the mental fortitude to be like, you know what, okay, I'm willing to let this go. It was a bad day. And you start imagining how you're going to tackle him the next match. So he chose the latter. He's like, Anant, I forgot about that 10, 15 runs I made. I was like, okay, this guy's going to pitch the ball here. It's going to swing. I'm predetermining what I need to do. And he just hammered that guy all over the park the next day, right? So what I've learned majority from sports people is resilience, discipline, because what we realize, what we think as people outside, right? It's like Neeraj Chopra. Everybody say, oh, Neeraj Chopra, Neeraj Chopra. That's after he won a gold medal. But none of us even know what happens before the podium. Multiple athletes who sacrifice their lives for 15 years. For how long? For the 10, 15 seconds in Olympics or in Commonwealth Games. And imagine if one of them gets injured the day before. Kya beeti hogi unpe, So what I'm saying is that sports is it's a very, very interesting discipline or kind of an industry or an area where you can learn a lot on leadership. So I would really recommend. So with Sachin, we kind of learned a lot. Michael Clark, Bhaji, Saurav Ganguly. But Saurav Ganguly and Bhaji a little bit like, okay, whatever. Not very good to hang out with. Michael Clark was amazing. We've spent time with Gary Neville, David Beckham. So we've had the opportunity of meeting foreign athletes also. And Wimbledon, we had an old American athlete called Jim Courier. So he was with us. He spent time with some of our clients. So majority of the discussions and our learnings have been around leadership and strength. And also one very important thing, anyone on the fitness journey, please see Novak Djokovic's documentary. Not that interview he does, where he says that I didn't have one piece of chocolate for so many years because it just requires that much discipline to be the best. You know, so there's certain documentaries you must watch. Any Man United fans here? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because nobody is right now considering the way they're playing. But old manager Sir Alex Ferguson is a lovely book that he's written in partnership with a gentleman who, I forget the guy's name, but he was one of the co-founders of Sequoia Capital. So deep diving into Fergie's management kind of theme and how he managed a team and made them won God knows how many trophies, but with 6 different teams. So you must read that. Another recommendation is read Bob Iger's book. The one he's written on his life at Walt Disney. Outstanding book.
Thank you so much. These incidents and stories that you shared with us, we love it.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for